Hello, welcome to Saving Seeds for Self-Sustainability and Community with Sylvain Bukasa and Hari Adhikari at NOFA New Hampshire's 20th Annual Winter Conference. I'm Laura Andrews, NOFA New Hampshire's Program Coordinator, and I'll be hosting this session with Amy Antonucci, NOFA New Hampshire Education Committee member. First, please note that we are recording this session and all sessions throughout the conference, and we'll share the recordings with you. There are some up on the website now on the Zoom links page, and we're just adding them throughout the week. Please note that everyone will be muted during the workshop, and please type your questions into the chat box throughout the presentation. Then we will read your questions when we get to the Q&A portion of the session. NOFA New Hampshire's Winter Conference is supposed to foster an open, welcoming environment and safe space for everyone. So please keep your questions and comments constructive in the chat. And for technical issues, please feel free to communicate publicly through the chat or message either me or Amy privately. If you would like to access closed captioning, click on the CC icon at the bottom of your Zoom screen. You may have to go back and enable that actually. And click on the arrow on the CC icon and click show subtitle. And if you're watching in a smaller screen, click the three buttons at the bottom of your Zoom screen that read more, and then click the show subtitle option. Now, before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that this conference is taking place on the land of the Pennacook tribe, or Ndakina, the Abenaki word for the traditional ancestral homeland of the Abenaki and Wabanaki peoples, past and present. And we acknowledge and honor with gratitude the land and waterways and the Alnobak, or people who have stewarded this land through the generations. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Sylvain Bukasa and Hari Adhikari.
Hello.
Hi.
Hari.
I'm Sylvain Bukasa. I am in New Hampshire, Manchester, New Hampshire. Yes. And my farm is in Dunbarton. That's where my farm is. So thank you. Okay,
Hari, do you wanna...
can go on.
Yeah.
Yes. Hi, everyone. So I'm Hari Adhikari, and I'm originally from Nepal. And I grew up in a farmer environment. Now I'm located in Concord, and the Concord Farmers Group leased the St. Paul school land, and we might extend this year somewhere else. We are trying to locate it in the Bosquen area. So I'm so happy to be a part of the farming group. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sylvain, you were going to do a demonstration, and we also have some photos. So just let me know when you want me to put up the PowerPoint, and I can start that for you.
Okay. So I have some tools here that I'm going to use for demonstration. So first of all, I have this bowl. It's a plastic bowl, and I already put water in there. You can see the water. I'm going to use the water. And I have this screen to catch my seed. And so these, and I have this plate that's gonna help me to dry the seed, because I dry it naturally on the room air, so room temperature. So I'm gonna use this plate. That's where I'm gonna put the seed. And today or tonight, I'm gonna use eggplant. It's actually African eggplant. These are eggplants that we got seeds that came from Africa. So, and this one was saved. I froze it from the fruit that I took last spring. Okay, this is what I'm gonna use to extract the seed. There's seed inside. If we are ready, you can just start showing those pictures I sent to you so that they can see how the fruits looks like when, because you cannot just pick any fruit. You have to wait until the fruit is very, very ripe. So it's a fruit that you cannot eat anymore because it lasts longer. I leave it last longer. It starts changing the color. These are, when it's younger, it looks a little bit green. But when it starts getting ripe, it changes the color and become reddish or kind of oranges. Let's go to the next slide. So now I cut the fruit in two. You can see the seed. So those fruits, you don't have to wait until it's dry, because when they become dry, it's gonna be a mess to get the seed out of that. But when it's still a little bit fresh inside, it's easy. You're gonna see when I'll show the demonstration. So let's go to, okay, that's the part that I'm gonna separate the fruit and the seed. I'm gonna show how I did that. You can see the seeds are in water, and then when I separate them from the water, you'll see on the plate that's where I put the seed so that I can dry it. So if you can put back the camera, I can start showing how I do that process. So first of all, I take a fruit with seed inside. I start squeeze it in water so that I can get the seed out. So yeah, so that's what I do. You just squeeze it as much as you can, and you'll see the seed gonna just come out. So when the seed are out of the fruit, this is what you got. So these are the seed inside the water. So what's next is to separate the seed and the water. That's when I'm gonna use the screen. But before you separate the seed and the water, from the information I got, they said you have to leave the seed in water for one night, so they can, there will be a process of like a fermentation. The fermentation help the process of germination, because if you just take it out like that without giving time to ferment, they say it's won't be a very good, I mean, you will not have 99% of germination from the seeds. But if you let it stay in water for the night, that will increase the chance of germination. So after one night, now I'm gonna separate the seed and the water. So I'm gonna use this screen. And now I have just the seed. You see, it's very clean. So these are just seed, you know, I can touch them and feel it. And when I have the seed in the screen, I have now to put the seed on this plate. Now I have the seed on the plate. The next step is to just spread it on the plate like that. If I have a lot of seeds, I'll use a big plate, but because it's just to show you how I dry my seeds, so I use just this small plate. So now I have this seed on my plate. What I do next to dry the seed is just to put it on top of my fridge or my cabinet, and that will stay there for a week. And after a week, this is what I'll get. So this is the seed that's already dry. This is ready for next season. So I can just, send it to any company that can start it inside, because for eggplant, we have to start it around March, at the end of the March or at the beginning of April, so that you can have the eggplant ready for transplanting in June. So these are the seed I already say. And this process, we can use the same process for things like melons. These are the seed of melon that I use the same process to dry and everything. It doesn't, change anything. It's just the same. And the same thing for seed like cucumber seed. So I did the same process. And these are the cucumber seed that I saved last August, that the cucumber was ready in August. So I extract the bigger one, the one was ripe, and then I save the seed. So the seed is ready. The same thing with any other seed that are bigger, you can do that. But for tiny seeds like amaranth, it's another process. And because I don't have the amaranth, it's difficult to show you. But what I do with amaranth, I just let it grow until it starts producing the flowers, and I'll cut just the flower, dry it in the sun at the farm, and then after I dry it, I'll save it in a cloth that I can just start squeezing the seeds and the plant together. And then after that, it's another process where you have to separate. It's a little bit difficult to get the amaranth seed than to get the eggplant seed. And for things like fruits like okra, it's very easy for okra because you just let the fruits grow, and then when the fruits get the maturity, you just let it dry. And when it's dry, you just open up the fruit and then get the seed already dry. We don't have a lot of process for things like okra. Very easy. I think that's how I save my seed, and that's the process that I get to have the seed ready for next season. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
Hari, do you want to take over?
Yes, looks like Sylvain did really good demonstration. He was prepared, like tagged everything on this chip bag and write down the name, but I didn't do that. Whatever traditionally I was doing, I'm gonna show like, how I did. So first we're gonna start from Barella, the smaller, or whatever you have in the first. So.
Right, just getting there.
Oh, I think beans. Yeah, you said beans. Yes.
The beans are first. Yes.
Yeah. Beans
I have
are
to share
first.
that. One moment. Getting there.
Okay.
There we go.
So These beans are, I've been saving them from like maybe 8 years. Somebody, one of my friend, she said they order like somebody mailed to them from Bhutan, like, close to Nepal. And these are so different beans, like they're, I might did not send the same like, right picture because this one yellow bean, it looks like mixed one from here. But I had this one on the other side. You can see one of the yellow one on the picture. So that those both green and yellow beans, I've been saving them, the seeds, like from 7 to 8 years, and they grows really well, and produces like from July to all the way to fall, like until the frost comes. They have been producing the beans, and so tastier than here one. Everybody whoever tries first time, they comes to me like so many times, like, oh, your bean was so tasty. I really love that. And that way, we are not going to be out of the variety anytime. So seed saving is really beneficial. In my country, my ancestors, like my grandpas, my grandmothers, they used to save the seed, whatever they grow, for next year. That way they never went to buy for the shop or never ran out from the seeds, so they can grow next year, like. So this is, we already see, we have seen the pandemic is already was here. And who knows, anytime the pandemic or the, like, gonna come again, we're gonna run out from the food or something like that. So we're gonna have to be prepared for those kind of, what is this called, I disasters. It's kind of disaster, like, nobody knows, what's gonna happen next. So this is really good tradition. If we saving our own seeds, like whatever we grow this year, why should we buy from the store or from the markets next year if we don't get the same variety, we loved last year? If we don't save that seed, next year is going to be something different. And it's really good to save our seeds and produce. So I have almost, I saved maybe from a 1 ounce to now is my tray full. I don't know I'm going to be able to show you the thing. This is what I have. Like, I'm gonna be maybe half acre or something. Only the bean is gonna be good enough for that. So I dry like that. Some of them I leave this, but it was too much to just not save with the cells. So I take it out when it was ready, when it was leaving the skin, like skin was little drier, changing the colors. So I picked them from the vines and just take it out and put it on a dry, like on the kitchen shelves, on the top of the kitchen shelves. So that way I save this bean, and it's really beneficial for us. And the same way I have a barella. It's originally from Nepal, and yeah, so barella, I have seeds here somewhere. Oh, I sent it to Laura too, but that's fine. So barella is also the really, yes, that's the same thing. And it's kind of cucumber, like tiny, tasty cucumber. Whoever from NOFA visited to us, I think I had that was on the field that time too. I let everybody try that. And it grows like a crazy. It goes all over. And every week I was picking up them, like maybe 20 pound each week. Sometimes I used to pick twice. So like I planted on a small area, and those are really good, really good for fiber, and cool for the stomach in the hot season. And that way we never ran out from the seeds, because it's been like 10 years we've been growing them too. So we do nothing. We cut them off, and we take it out the seed when they are blackish or the brownish. We take it out and put it on a dry air, like on the room temperature, and it will dry itself. So nothing to do. Thank you. And the next one is gonna be Lucky. It's really like popular Indian vegetable, and all over Asian people like use that in Cambodia, China, Thailand or India, Nepal, Bhutan. Everybody eats that, and it's it's so healthy for our. I think it controls our blood sugar level. I'm not sure. You're gonna have to Google about that, but yeah, it's later on the study found it's really good for our health, especially making the juice out of that, taking the juice out of that in the early morning, like empty stomach. If you drink a glass of juice, that it controls like our blood sugar, blood pressure, everything. So it like the glory skin, or never gonna get older. That's why they says. And uh, and so tasty to eat, like a cooking process is almost like a squash. How we do, we just put some butter and garlic and some, if you have cumin on the seeds on the oil, just chop it off, like a peel the skin and chop it up, and it's ready to go in 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. So it's really yummy, and it's from, especially from, we say India, Nepal, like whole South Asia uses that. So next thing, if I have time, I haven't, yeah, the cucumber. The cucumbers are Nepali cucumbers. It's supposed to be like triple volume than that, but we are been, growing them every year with the tiny cucumbers. Maybe it just like getting smaller volume. Otherwise, it was in the first year, it was more than 20 pound a cucumber, like a huge cucumber. So it's especially Nepali cucumber, and it's so tastier and thicker inner part, like what this kind, like a meat part is really thick, and you can make pickle out of that or cook as a vegetable like other squashes, or eat raw. So those are so tasty, and we're not going to be able to find here. So I have to save them every year and year, and it's like been fifth year. I think that was the fifth year I grow them. I buy from the store, somebody somebody grow here, and I found somewhere, and I was so happy to plant them and I sell every year in the market. It goes very well. People just wanted to try that. So that's how I save our seeds, and I have plenty of them. If you allow me to do, I can show you the tiny cherry pepper. Like it's really hottest pepper, and especially it's called Nepali pepper. Whenever I send to the greenhouse, they write down Nepali pepper, but it's hottest pepper ever I found. Like maybe the more than habaneros or something, and it helps our gastrology or the joint pain and everything to remove that, and like helps on that, and lot of pain, like that's why people eat like other peppers bothers your stomach, but this doesn't bothers you. So that is the thing. And I'm been saving. I have so many things like amaranth, Sullivan said, and the other things too. Sorry, my baby came over here and playing the mobile. I'm so sorry for that.
No worries. Could you both talk a little bit more about how you started saving seeds and how long you've been doing it for? I know you told me a little bit about that, and it was interesting to hear.
Yeah, I can start. So
Sure, go ahead.
when I got here, it was in 2006, but I started farming at Dunbarton. It was in 2011. That's when I got involved in the program because I was looking for, something to do in summer, just summer to go out, grow something, because that's what I've been doing all my younger life. So I was growing flower at home, and then I start, growing a little bit of vegetable. My grandma, I was inspired by my grandma. Whenever we will go to visit her, she would just tell us, okay, just wait for me. I'm gonna go down to the river and I'll come back, because she was living a little closer to a river. And as you know, when you want to farm, you're going to need water, and especially in Africa, they farm, most of the farmer want to be next to a river so that they can have easy access to water. So she will go there and come back with some food like, sweet potatoes or beans, things that she can cook for us. And then I was like, oh, this is amazing. So I asked her a question about, how did you do? You didn't go to the market to buy these, you just go to your garden and you brought these. And she will explain me how she was doing that. So that's how I was inspired to be involved in growing food. So amaranth is one of the vegetables that we use every year because he grows very easily. So when I got here, there was lack of amaranth seed. And I met a lady who has, at that time she had amaranth seed, and she gave me a little bit of seed. So I went and I grew the seed in my garden, and I couldn't go back to her and ask her more seeds. That's why I decided to start saving the seed. So since 2011, when I started planting amaranth, every year I keep saving seed. And think it's now almost 2011, 2020, almost 11 years that I've been saving the amaranth seed, because I didn't want to miss amaranth. So, and it's very easy. Even if you don't extract the seed, you just leave the plant in the garden. So when the plant dry and then the seed fall, the next season, that is amazing. Even if the snow covered the seed still survive the winter. That's something that amazed me. And amaranth, it's a tropical plant, but it still survive the winter. And I have some amaranth that's come back every year in the field, but I still need some seed so that I can grow it any place I want to grow it, around the farm. So that's why I keep saving seed, because I don't want to miss the plant that I like the most. And that's give me, an opportunity to have amaranth every year and every time I want it.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes.
Ari, are you there?
Yes, I am sorry.
Oh,
I
no
just
worries. That's okay. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you started saving seeds in your family history?
Yes, so before I just little bit explained, my grandpas and grandmas in Nepal, it's kind of, the country is really below poverty. if somebody wanted to buy the seeds every year, like that was going to be so expensive to do that. And they might not gonna find the same variety they wanted to, plant next year. So they have a tradition, they before they started to eat, first they're gonna separate for the next year saving seed, and then the rest of the extra, then they use as a food, like beans or the everything. I remember like whatever the chickpeas or peas or the different type of the lentils, like all the beans varieties, they whatever they grow in their land, they definitely gonna save for next year. And even in something new somebody is growing in the like neighborhood, everybody used to share to each other, if in case if I ran out from the seed, they're gonna have some seeds to their farm. So everybody, whoever sees the new things, we used to go ask like them around, like, can I have the seed when you save that, please, for next year? And that way the seeds always like spread and get more and more than decreasing or the running out from the variety. So it's really good tradition in Nepal, India, like our countries, have like a saving tradition before they start eating or finishing. Like they worried about next year. Oh, what am I going to do next year? First, save the seed and then do something here. So even, people, I even want to buy something new variety, but whatever varieties I have like a plenty. Maybe for an acre, I saved my seeds, like all peppers, amaranth, like Sullivan had I think one or two varieties. I had 3-4 varieties saved, like So I'm kind of thinking advancedly, and I know I'm gonna save that for next year, and then I'm gonna use the rest of the So this year I was kind of really prepared. I saved even the flower seeds, like all the flower, marigold, and I forgot the name. Whatever flower was in my garden, I have everything uh, dried, so I'm not gonna have to buy from out of the pocket to them. So it's my tradition, and I'm not able to show everything, but I can show this is my seed saving. Like this all has a seeds for next year, and this is also, so you can imagine how I'm seed saver. Like, so this one is bitter melon. I forget to send the picture, and this is also really popular in India. Did you you can see that? I'm sorry. So this is bitter melon.
Can
It's
you lift
really
it up a little bit? A little higher? Like up this way? Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the like bitter melon seed. It was in my garden, and we sold a couple of times, and we saved this for next year. So we're not gonna be running out from the bitter melon. Bitter melon we can also buy from the store, but the mature seeds never comes, so we have to mature them in the garden, and it's really hard. It's maybe hardy zone. It grows in the hardy zone, so it's really hard to grow them first. And I had to use the heat and the light, to germinate them. Otherwise they wasn't germinating. I wasted so much seed out for them. And the same way the lauki wasn't easy to grow. It was going to need really heat. But cucumber was okay. It's from the hillside. The big cucumber can hold the cold, or a little bit cold, but not too much. So we have to be studying like what our parents used to do to germinate them. If I don't know, I'm gonna call them, like how you used to do that.
I think if it's okay with you both, I think we can switch to questions because it looks like people have a lot of questions.
Sure. Please go
Okay.
ahead.
Great. Before we get into the more technical things, could either of you explain a little bit about Fresh Start Farms and the ORIS program that you're involved in?
Yes, I can. I think it's explain that. So ORIS, as the name says, it's a non-profit organization for immigrant and refugees. ORIS is a very, very important organization for immigrant and refugee, even, American, whoever want to be involved in it, because the organization help new people who come to America to start something. Like very simple things, like if you liked when you were home to grow your own food, they give you that opportunity, because ORIS is providing us with land. And in my case, when I got involved with ORIS, someone from ORIS, from a lady who was working with ORIS, she was a Congolese, so she wanna spread the ORIS, information around the Congolese community. That's how she got to me, and she explained me, and I was very interested. So I went to the office. They explained me how things works. We start by some trainings, how to start seeds, and it was in winter at that time. So they show us how you can start seeds inside and wait until the land or the soil is warm enough so that you can grow it outside. So they train us how to grow food in another environment, like here in New England, where we have summer, winter, fall, and those different seasons, and they help us out to understand how you can manage to grow food in those different seasons. And ORIS at the beginning provide us with the first seeds that we needed at that time. So when I started, I didn't spend anything. So everything was provided by ORIS. They give us the land, they give us the first seeds to start with, and they give us the information we needed at that time. So ORIS was a big help for me personally to start, what I'm doing now, because from growing food for myself to start selling food now and making an extra income is a very, very good thing, because with ORIS, there is that opportunity that you can make extra money. If you have a job, you can have, extra money, or if you want to do it full time, if you want to grow food full time, like have a job as a grower. With ORIS, there is that opportunity. They can help you how to get the land and then how to start, your own business. So, and now what ORIS did, because when we started, there was a lot of competition to sell your produce. We supposed to go to different places just to go, sell our produces. I remember when I started, I have to go to London Dairy just to sell my produce. And London Dairy, it's a little bit far. At that time, I have a small car, and to move all those stuff in a small car was difficult. But we start thinking about to start our own marketing, and it took a little bit of time, because we needed a lot of support, financial support, to start the marketing and open a place where we can process our food so that we can sell it in a big amount. And we made it because now we have the food hub. We can sell even food online. And all of that have been with the help of ORIS. And that's why I said ORIS have been a very big help for me in what I'm doing now.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes.
This question is for Hari. Can you provide more information on your varieties, like where people could get the seed? Someone specifically asked where they
Yeah,
can
I
get the
saw
seed
that.
for the
I
green
was-
beans.
I was checking the message here too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's I have some varieties extra, like if somebody wanted to get from me, I can share with them. Or I don't know that if we are able to buy the same varieties at the market here. I never sold them on online. So next year, I will be doing that. I'm gonna get my business license and I'm gonna be selling them on online if somebody wanted to do that, so I'm gonna like produce them a lot, and whoever wanted to buy the seeds, because I'm trying to extend my gardening as a cut flower garden this year. So I might, now I'm just buying the 25 seeds for $5 or like $3, like sunflower. I buy so many sunflower varieties. So same way, if somebody wanted to buy the other things from me in interstate, our friends, we can share that, and they doesn't have to pay me that much, whatever they wanted to pay. And I can do that through the ORS, or wherever they wanted to come grab that, so.
It's very nice of you to offer. Thank you. Okay, few questions here. Have you noticed that your crops become better with each generation?
The organic stays like that, the organic seeds, like the bean seeds, they are always amazing to see them, how they grow and everything. So whatever the hybrid we buy from the stores and then try to save the seeds for next year, sometimes they are unequal on the size, like some of them are smaller, some of them are really huge. So we don't know what's going on, especially those lauki or the cucumbers, like I think they make hybrid, and we try to make them every year. So yeah, those are getting smaller. That's the thing I found. Maybe that was the hybrid before, and then we don't know how to do that. Like we planted with this tiny cucumber, so they might, the cross crops or something they did, and they started to getting smaller. So that's why I figured out maybe I did something wrong. I shouldn't be planting them together. And then yes, so maybe pollinator.
There was another question about that. Do you have you
I
noticed?
can add something for
Yeah, sure.
the question. So what in my experience, since I start planting the African eggplant, I never see a big change. My crops are almost the same, and it depends only because it's the same seed. The seed never change. Even if when you grow them, they may some crop crossing, but I never experienced that with the African eggplant. I still got the same kind of fruit. I have so many variety, but you'll see everything come back the way you got it for the first time. And maybe it's because of the seed are, they protect themselves. I don't know. But if you grow them in a very good soil, because what I do when I wanna save seed, I pick the best fruits, the biggest one, the healthiest one, because I know when I grow, I save the seed from those biggest and the best and the one that looks so good. That's helped me to get the best seed I can. So that's what I'm trying to do. Yes. But for amaranth, for example, it doesn't change a lot at all. It's the same every year. So I never seen a change in the quality of the vegetable that I grow. It's just all the same. But the only difference I saw is when you grow the local vegetables, and if you try to save the seed that was not heirloom, usually you don't get a good result. If you take the hybrid, you try to save them, you don't get a good result. You have to save the heirloom ones. So that's what I experienced in my case.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
I know that Hari had just mentioned that maybe there were some issues with cross-pollination. Sylvain, have you experienced any issues with cross-pollinating?
I never experienced such thing like cross-pollination, because I try to separate my crops according to the kind of crop they are. And when I do rotation, it helped again. And I did some research. There is crops that you cannot, grow them together, so that we can avoid that cross-pollination. But there is other one that they need each other so that they can help each other to make happen the pollination, because there is some crops that are they pollinate themselves, but there is other that need other to get the pollination process. So I'm trying to make sure that I respect that, so that I don't get in a problem like Adi said. She experienced some cross pollination that affect your vegetable.
Great, thank you. So Jeffrey's
So I have something.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, I saw one of the comment was like, talk about more about your savings. So for example, this is my corn. I saved from my own garden for next year. So I just dried that, let that dry, and I'm going to be using this for next year. So this is like a African corn, Nepali corn. It's not too sweet. The diabetes patient can also eat that, or it's like a less sweetened, like not the flavor sweetened, and healthy for everybody. So whoever tried, they comes from all the way from Manchester or Boston to just buy those corns. Like same way from the African community friends, they drives all the way from Boston to buy from us. So this is a special corn, not the regular one. And I talk about the marigold. I'm saving marigold too. So this is the proof. I still have the marigold in my hand dried. So this is planning for next year. If I take it out the part and just put it on a ground when the ground is ready. And the next other kind, this is like a really long pepper. It's like a mild hot, not too hot, but still hot. So this is crazy hot. This is so tiny, but it's super, super hot, and we cannot buy this here. So we have to save that for next year. So this is also something different I am saving. And I have a lot of things like a mustard, especially like the mustard greens. I saved 2-3 kind of mustards every year. So I grow my own mustard every single year.
Cool. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. There was a question about harvesting the seeds. Jeffrey asked if there's a general stage at which a plant is ready to harvest the seeds. And he's wondering, is he right in saying that overripe produce is the best for taking seeds?
Of course, yes, you have to wait, until the seeds are ready, because if you take a very young fruit, like for eggplant, if you take a very young, you can see the difference with a overgrown one, because the seed are tougher when it's overgrown, but when they are still young, they kind of squishy, they smooth, they tiny, and that's why we need to wait. You need to wait until the fruit change the color, like the picture you show. You see it, the color is very, very it's very bright red, or yellow, or you can see that. And what else I do is, to make sure that I have the best seed, I have to test the seed. So how I test the seed to see how much percentage of germination I'm gonna get from those seeds, because I remember there was a year when we sent seeds to this company so that they can start it in the greenhouses, but we have a lot of seed that fell that season. And what I understood was, like, maybe we didn't choose the good fruits where we extract those seeds. So from that time until now, I make sure that I wait until the fruit is ready to get it and take the seed out. And I have this process that I learned from the internet. So to test the seed, what I do, I use a piece of paper towel, and I just put the seed on that paper towel, like I'm doing now. So I put the seed on the paper towel. So as you can see, the seed are on the paper towel, and I cover the seeds in the paper towel and put in a small bag like this one. The plastic bag I put inside. With the seed inside the paper towel, like that. So, and then I sprinkle a little bit of water. Just make sure the towel is wet. And then I cover it and put it on top of the fridge, because it's usually warm on top of this fridge. And after a week, you can see the seed start germinating. And you can see how many seed you put on that piece of paper, and you can count how many seeds germinated, and you can figure out what is the percentage of germination. It's very easy. If you put, for example, let's take this number, you put 10 seeds, and you have, for example, maybe if you are very lucky, 8 seeds germinated. That's a very big percentage. But if it's less than 5, that's not a good result for, you will not get a good result from that seed saving. So that's how I test my seed to make sure that I have good seed.
Awesome, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. I think we're getting close to the end, so I think we only have time for one more question. Christine is wondering how your crops from Africa and Southern Asia tolerate the growing conditions in the Northeast. And she's wondering if there are many pest problems or any issues related to drought or rain.
Oh, that's a wonderful question. So the crop from from Africa, they just need to be planted at the right time and in the same kind of temperature like in Africa. For example, for African eggplant, they are very similar with the eggplant that we have here in America, like those dark big eggplant. So they respect the same condition. So if you want to plant them outside, you have to start them inside like 3 months earlier. And you have to wait until June when it's really, really nice up there so that you can transplant them outside. No difference. The only problem is it's when fall comes, that's when you start seeing the difference. Because in Africa, you can use one plant of eggplant for many years. You grow one time and then you start just harvesting every year until the plant is tired. They don't die like here, because here you plant them, you harvest before the next frost, because when the frost comes, kills the whole plant. So that's the difference.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
I guess I'll ask you one more quick question. Kathy asked if the process that you showed for harvesting the eggplant seeds, if that's similar to how you would harvest tomato seeds.
Exactly. I do the same thing for tomatoes, and I do the same thing for what else? Yeah, for tomatoes, I do the same process. Cucumber and melon, butternut, squash, same process. There's not a big difference.
Great.
Yeah.
And for the Asian question, like Asia, in Asia, the same thing. We have so many longer season there, and that's why so many of the crops I cannot grow here, like the special decorative beans, which one takes a year to harvest, and I tried so many years. I'm not success. Yes, yeah. Last year it was just flowering because of the longer season, and then frost came and it died. So we have to compromise. What kind of crop can survive here. Especially that's why I choose from the hillside crops. Who likes the cold? Who can hold the cold, and that's why we order, we bring those kind of plants only we can expect from them, not everything. And especially last thing I want to say, even the potatoes from 5 year, the organic, really the purple one, the oval shaped potatoes, like tiny the baking potatoes, I grow my own every year from 5 years. And my customer loved that, those are so tasty potato ever I eat it. So that's why my last, the suggestion was.
Great, thank you. Sylvain, do you want to add anything else before we close?
And what amazed me is that I think that some crops that are, especially tropical crops that we have, in South America, things like cassava. I remember there is a lady who tried to plant a cassava plant, and you can plant cassava here, but the only problem is you need to choose the cassava that you can grow in 3 months. Because I tried, we grow sweet potato here, and sweet potato, they don't tolerate the cold weather. But if you just choose the right seed and the right timing, you can grow some of the tropical plants here in the north east of the state. It's possible, but you have to choose the right timing. And that's when comes you need to know how the plants last, how long the plants last from start to harvest. And that can help you to figure out what kind of tropical plant you can bring it here. But it's still possible, because I experienced something like that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Wonderful. So this concludes our workshop. Sylvain and Hari, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your knowledge with us. And thank you everyone for being here today. Our next session is tomorrow with Amy Manzelli on starting your own food business, or starting a business actually. And that is on Wednesday, February 9th at 12 at noon. And I will pop the workshop links in the chat over here. Let's see. And in the meantime, make sure to check out our virtual exhibitor fair featuring 17 different exhibitors, including our conference bookstore hosted by Main Street Bookends. And when you order any books through Main Street Bookends and include NOFA-NH in the comments, 20% of proceeds will be donated back to NOFA New Hampshire. Mark, if you're joining us for the first time, mark your calendars for our upcoming programs. On February 17th, we have a Farm Bill listening session, and our Feeding the Family Organic Gardening series is 6 sessions bi-weekly starting February 22nd through May 3rd. And also check out our bulk order program to save on farming and gardening supplies. And the order deadline for that is February 28th, with pickup on March 19th and 20th in Andover, New Hampshire, Ware, and Rochester. So thank you again for joining us, and hope you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you for having us. That was wonderful. Thank you, Laura, for doing this. Yes.
Pleased to be the part of the NOFA program today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I want to apologize because of my schedule at work. I work in second shift. That's why I miss a lot of those workshop, that happen when I'm working. I'm really, really sorry for that.
That's okay. We have actually, you can still see the recordings. If they'll be, we're sending the links to you. So if you want to watch them after the fact, you can do that. And I'll send you and Hari an email after this to make sure you can access those.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Hope you have a good night.
You too. Have a good night.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
guys. And I hope I'll see you again next time.
Yes, take care.
Bye.